All right, let's call to order the Baby Water and Sewer District regular meeting. It is Thursday, August 20th, 2026. So call the meeting to order. Let's have a roll call.
Sean Luma, Dan Tyndall.
Alan Hoffmeister. We have a quorum, one person out of town and one person who's hoping to make it in time. So I'm assuming you've all looked at the consent calendar items for approval, the regular and special board meeting minutes of July 16th and 21st, the monthly invoice list, regular and special bills as presented, and the July financial reports. I would take a motion to accept.
So moved. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yippee. Let's move on to the treasurer's report.
All right. So this month I'll be reporting on the entire last month of July. Looks like last month we billed for approximately 26,200 and we received close to 30 or a little over 32,000. So more than we have billed for, which is quite good.
Yes, because last month it was all so many in arrears.
Yes, yeah. So the whole ebb and flow getting caught up. So that's good. That did as a year to date for billed and received, that put us right on target. So that's pretty good. The sewer inspection fees, we did get one of those as well as a sewer connection fee. On the water side, we billed for about 29,800. And of that was our first month of billing our final SRF water bond amount. So instead of bringing in around 5,400 for billing, it was around 12,183. All that will go directly towards our annual payment to DEQ for the state revolving fund loan. This month we received about 32,388. It was right on target with sewer fees as well. Had to double check that one. We do often do a split sometimes to make sure that those even out, but we are behind on our year-to-date for water fees. We did recently just do our certifications, so we should be getting one more certification payment this fiscal year from the county, which doesn't go directly to the water fees, but to the certified, but that's a portion that we recoup.
We did get out 2,000 ahead on certified payments.
Yes, yeah, we're quite a bit ahead.
Very good.
Yeah, we have one customer who's actually been paying. We used to certify, it was an old abandoned house that ever since I worked here, we would certify them, and now they've been paying every year. So,
good.
Yeah. That's one account that we were trying to find the meter for that nobody's in stock. We did have one water hookup fee, and along with that, the water cap fee. In total, we brought in about 78,457. Any questions on the income side?
Nope.
Moving on down to expenses here. Looks like the sewer side, we have about 12,392 of that. We did have to abandon and install a new tank, which is the first time we've had to do that since I've worked here. That was around, I want to say 5,000, and then we did have it was around 5,300. And then we did have a high water alarm where RC Worst had to come out and do some septic tank maintenance. For commercial pumping, we had 1,820. And then we had 6 residential pumpings, totaling 3,080.
Was McDonald's not pumped before the 4th of July?
That is actually their son's personal residence. I should put an address there.
Okay.
Or no, that was going to be this month when I report for it. Sorry. So yeah, that was McDonald's. That was their trailer park, which we do not usually pump every year. We do pump the docks and bulkheads and stuff, but yeah, I don't think we've actually pumped the trailer park area.
I think we have once, but it's been a minimum of years,
and it serves a number of houses near trailers. Miscellaneous parts, we did order some septic tank lids. We've been going around repairing those as we see them. For the water side, we had, that mainline investigation that we know about now that it was not a leak. We have, however, heard some rattling, that was in there, but nothing. Did allow us to get in there and really investigate and see if that rattling was a problem for the district, and it wasn't. It's just something that's passing on through, so that's good for us. That did cost about $2,300 to investigate. Then we had the North Shore repair, thanks to the Ziply fiber issues that were going on there. So as I remember, insurance deductible is about $10,000. So we're a little over $12,000 there so far for the North Shore repairs. That does not take into account the asphalt repair that we'll have to do. I am waiting for us to get a little out of the summer season before I make that claim, because if we have any other repairs while Ziply Fiber's here, I want to make sure we get all that in.
We just gotta locate for North Shore, then we
Yeah.
do after the meeting, so we wanna get those out of the way.
And yeah, the running joke in the office here is that North Shore is the year 2026. We've almost, we've been down there just a lot lately, so we definitely want to make sure that they're out of that area before doing any insurance claims, but that will be done before the end of this
And
fiscal
we
year.
have no recourse with Ziply Fiber.
It's not looking very likely, but I
They're
will talk.
costing us a lot
Yeah.
of money.
I
A lot
know
of
that
man out.
dealing with insurance, they're going to delve into that, question it. Any insurance always kind of wants to push back and fight back where they can, so. Definitely work with.
They're not done.
Yeah, definitely work with.
Well, as I
ICRF on
mentioned
any
last month, the
information.
one thing I've already warned them all about is the fact that there's a minimum of 3 systems right here in Bayview proper that are not on the locate list. And so if they hit something, they may be calling us thinking you hit it, but it's not us, it may be them, because they're not on that list, so. You know, as I said, you think North Shore is bad, wait till they get into these other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could end up running around like chickens with our
Yeah.
head cut off.
Well, I
wondering
mean,
whose
if
line it
it's-
is for a
If it's
second.
one of these other small ones, it's gonna be up to them to get it fixed, correct?
Well,
Yes, yeah.
this is gonna be an issue though, we need to deal with, if we think it's ours and we dig it
We'll
up.
report,
We,
and that's gonna.
we
be
need to
from
build
you.
them or repair them or something.
Mhm.
Because I mean, what do? Just leave a ditch open and then with water spraying everywhere and find it's not our line?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
get it.
always us that gets called first,
Yes,
because
that's
we're the
right.
ones that.
Yeah.
As
so
long as we have a key contact for every other one of those little districts.
we do.
To say,
Yeah. They're not necessarily the operator, they're just a contact, right?
great. Okay, sorry, Jesse.
No, absolutely. Then we did have some miscellaneous parts, for about 259, and then we did a SCADA upgrade. Do you wanna talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the PLC, which is inside that cabinet right there, that control brains system, Sean, I emailed you on that today, that's the brains of it. It was giving us a number of false alarms, in fact, I could get 2 dozen of them overnight.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And so it just wasn't functioning properly, it's older, so we got it replaced. And the alarms have pretty much gone away, I may get one every 2 or 3 days now,
Okay,
which may be normal. So we've got that, that was a long time coming to get that taken
Yeah.
care of.
So
good.
getting that upgrade, plus we did have one maintenance thing, for one of our outbuildings there was about 2,200. And then we've been working pretty hard in the office as Logan's been helping with some meter reading.
Mhm.
We've been really cracking down on any of our readers where the reader heads are dead, things like that, so. We did some replacement parts, around 3,000 for those, in total water was about 20,200. Any questions for sewer and water?
no,
All right, everything else moving on down the list is pretty routine. Some vehicle expense, which is mileage, mainly just mileage, contract labors, lawn care, we have our director fees, dues and subscriptions was Zoom and our office security camera subscription. That's an annual one. Then just some regular office supplies. I did order some more vendor checks for QuickBooks, so it's a little bit higher there. Our postage and delivery was slightly higher. We did get out those flyers.
I have gotten incredibly great response from
Good.
people on those. And not just my neighbors, but over at the community center where they were doing their big Spokane fire donation thing. Several people over there complimented on what a great job those were and how informative they were, so I think that was a great thing to do.
Good,
And
moving
really
forward,
appreciate
yeah, if we get a
staff doing
warranty deed now, when we do billing, then we'll just make sure to send out those to any of our new customers, so.
Perfect.
Good job.
Everything else, insurance, assessment fees, those may be going up, we will yet to see, but we did get that paid, that was our quarterly, janitorial. Some minor engineering, that would be some lake stone work that will later be reimbursable. I like to do those more towards the end of the fiscal year, so I'm doing it once instead of just piecemealing it to death. And then utilities and payroll. Any questions?
So do you feel like we're pretty on track for the year?
I do, I'm watching water expenses really closely, especially with the North Shore, we were already pretty much at budget for water expenses and then the North Shore thing hit. So, yeah, we're just making sure we're doing all the brass and tacks for anything water related here on out,
They're coming down Main Street next week.
yeah. So, but we've been doing a lot of sewer stuff, so,
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
kind
I
of
knew that was
been our
close.
main focus, it's a lot of sewer related things.
All right. Operators report?
okay. Put that up if you like, Jesse. Okay. Here we go, for basically for the month of July, we're looking at about 16.5 million gallons produced by the wells, of which 9,396,000 gallons registered customer meters. Works out to be 487,000 gallons per day produced by the wells, of which 276,000 gallons per day registered customer meters. It's equivalent customer consumption of 527 gallons per day per service connection. Unaccountable loss is 7,140,000 gallons, or 43%. And you can see the year-to-year comparison. Last year was a little bit warmer. At 20 million gallons and 13 million gallons registering through customer meters. 2 years ago, 18 million gallons and almost 9 million gallons registering through customer meters. And on down 3 years ago, 16 million gallons, which is similar to what it was this year. A lot of it's weather dependent as to how much is produced and how much is consumed. But you can see our percentages are still up there, 51%. 2 years ago, 47% of unaccountable water loss, 3 years ago. So it's still up there in the 40% range, pretty much where we're at. So that's why we're working on replacing dead meter heads and doing whatever we can to find and repair leaks. Okay, now you probably already know about all of this in terms of the water system issues. We had 2 water main breaks on North Shore Lane in July, resulting from the Sibley Fiber project. They're going down to the bottom end of North Shore Lane next week and doing another directional drilling. They're not doing everything underground on North Shore Lane at the bottom because they said there's just too much in it between Spectrum and everybody else. We can't. How can we avoid all this stuff? So they're doing what they can. They got our water and sewer to deal with, so they know it's there. Second item, main PLC replaced and false alarms have disappeared. I talked about that earlier. Oh, here's the one I wanted to mention. So highlight number 3, Timberlake Fire District fire hydrant testing ongoing. It was it Friday? I got a frantic call from them saying we can't get the hydrant turned off on Spruce and 4th. Help! Because it was and they heard there's some little thud in there. Anyway, I got out and got it off, and that's on Dan Lincoln's list. I don't know if you've talked to him about it lately, Jesse, to get that fire hydrant repaired. But it's just so that the community knows that Timberlake Fire comes around and does tests typically annually of our fire hydrants. They let us know if there's some deficiency or if something like that happens. And it's our responsibility to repair.
So we actually own the fire hydrant?
Yes,
Okay.
we
thank
own
you.
them. They test them because they need it for insurance rating
Yeah.
purposes, things like that. And we ask them to notify us if there's any deficiencies, which they do. And then we get it fixed.
How much of that testing and water flow contributes to any water loss numbers? Is there any way that we're tracking
Not very
that?
much. It's just very brief to open it up and close it.
Okay,
Yeah, it really doesn't do that much too. Now, with that said, I pretty much asked them to avoid testing portions of Cape Horn Estates. It's got that old 5-inch cold hard steel from the Navy surplus type stuff. And every time they've gone to test it, we get a line split. So just avoid that area. If you can, please. All right, I think I mentioned this before, we did have a lightning strike at Cape Horn Estates that got a fuse and one of our small controllers. But I guess the good news, it didn't, by having the protection we have out there, because we do have protection with fuses and whatnot, it only got that, not the pump or the motor. That's a chronic area for getting transient voltage surges, you know, because it kind of sticks up like a sore thumb up at especially the water tanks up there. So, of course, we know the land app is closed this year. We've got our typical numbers up there for what we produce during summer months and winter months. Triplex repairs update. There was another part, it was supposed to come in, you know, the parts did come in after the 4th of July, but there's another one that's missing that's custom fabricated. And so it's supposed to be in probably in the next week or so, but I think I was talking with RC Works and said, you know, you may want to wait after Labor Day when the usage is slowed down. You don't have to pump as much out and get pump trucks in here. So that's kind of what we're watching for. Again, the reason they call it a triplex is we have 3 pumps. But if we have 1 down, we still have 2. It's not like we got 1, it better not go or we're gonna be on the news. So everything's working fine there. And multiple septic tanks, mostly commercial, were pumped in the last month. Jesse kind of gave an update on that. Jesse, is there anything else on the land app site that's on the agenda? Or with Dan or anything?
No, there is not.
I did get an email from our engineer,
Okay,
and it looked like they're gonna have that new submittal for the redoing of the land application ready within a couple weeks.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So he's moving forward on it.
I'm not gonna really settle down until that's finally approved.
Yeah.
'Cause
No, and there's no telling on, we had one breeze through that haven't had happen in years. But I'm working on another one. That's anything but breezing through. I had a phone call with. I had people down with me yesterday on it. Yes. Or DEQ, and they're not real happy indeed. Some of the folks at DEQ aren't real happy about. All of the additional. Red tape that people are having to have, so.
okay, ongoing is the timber sale near the land app site. We're waiting for more information from them at this point, so. That's my report, or the operator report at this point. Unless you had anything else you wanted to add to that, Bob? Anything about the name base you wanted to add since that was today?
Oh, it's on the main agenda.
That's right, okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
New business, located water lines at the naval base, scope of work.
Oh, there it go. I just
Now-
segue into that.
Yes.
So,
We just came from it, Bob and I did not run around.
and this report was produced a week ago, so.
We have one that we're still not sure where we're gonna be able to put the meter. We'd like to keep it up at the head near the main line. Because if we put it, the next option is down low along the water. And we look at a whole big section there that we won't know what's going on with, so,
And we're responsible for it if we. put
and
the meter down
we're
below.
responsible for
Yeah.
it. So we think we may have some options up along the road. But it's gonna be an expensive thing to do.
We know what to do. The issue is the plan and how to do it and the expense.
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah,
Well,
the other two.
Yeah.
Are, one of them, there's meter's already there, all we have to do is replace the existing meter,
Mhm.
and then the other one is relatively accessible. It's just inside of the fence off of the road. That's a
Main
base,
Street, right.
that's a good
Right
place.
by the scenic bay office, right in that area.
so just to clarify, because there have been many discussions over the past several months. We do feel like this is one of our key water loss areas. And that tracking this down and bird dogging it and installing meters will allow us
Yes.
a lot more information. We also know that it's going to cost money, not a little bit of money. But Jesse has already been in contact looking at DCIP grants, so it may be 18 months away before we get the funding to do it. So we'll just have to see.
Yes,
Correct.
and in order for me to submit anything to DCIP, I need to create a scope of work. Also referred to as an SOW, and get some quotes to give them a good idea, so that
Right.
they can start their planning side of it. And once I can submit a SOW or a scope of work and quotes to them, then I can initiate the planning portion with them, so.
So here's a question, which I know you have to go at a certain time, so I wanna be cognizant of that. Because if we need to make any decisions, we can't. Is there, and I don't know what I don't know, so if this is a dumb question, just say so. If we determine scope of work and cost. Do we have reserves that we could use in advance? Of being granted DCIP monies, or is that a slippery slope to go down?
It is a slippery slope, but I would definitely need to double check with them, because, you know, everyone's different. I know the hoops with like, for instance, DEQ, if we get funding with them. You know, they have all the Davis-Bacon and wage tracking and stuff. I do recall that the last grant that we got with DCIP did not have those requirements, but. That being said, I don't want to speak without fully knowing, so that would be something that I look into.
That's not
Okay.
federal money?
It is federal money, but they did not have Davis-Bacon
Okay,
Wage.
they will now.
track. It might, which is why I
The
definitely
Fed
want to
mandated
check.
that
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
Fed money,
okay,
not just David Bacon wage, not just American Iron and Steel, but
Yeah.
also every other thing in there that's available.
Yeah.
US made.
well, I think we need to think about the fact that we have. A timeline, the water loss is concerning, but it's. Replenishing the aquifer, as I always say at this point. And I'm reticent to spend our reserves without a guarantee of reimbursement. So. Just for everyone's edification, know that we need to think about all those circumstances as we move forward, but we know this isn't gonna be a.
It'd be
Fix
nice
next
if
week.
we could find the money to do the one that's gonna be easy. Vault's already there,
Yeah,
all we have to do is replace the meter. To get it in place, work through any issues that we might have with the new types of meters. Before we move on to the next one, it'd be nice to get that one done this year.
So if
could
we
find the
can-
funds.
If we can. Get the quote and scope of work on that, then we can figure it into either. What we have remaining this year, despite the fact that we've had a ton of problems and
Yeah.
spent a ton of unexpected money. Otherwise, you know, I feel like we're gonna have to budget for it this fall to do early spring when we can get to it. But again, it's like.
Right.
Only money coming in can become money going out, so,
Right.
you know,
But just in my mind, it's priorities.
yeah,
and,
Way up here because of our water loss
and
situation.
also,
It's becoming progressively worse.
and be thinking about, remember, our customer meters are 3/4 inch and 1 inch. These are 2
I
8-inch
know.
lines with no
I
meters on.
know,
We put thousands of gallons through there, that, when we see 7 million gallons on account of water loss, you think big lines.
yeah, right, I think we all know, we've
Yeah.
talked about 2 8-inch and 1 6-inch line up there. So we know.
Yeah.
That things will take a dramatic change. I'm just thinking in terms of water availability for customers. We're still fine,
And from the
So far.
administrative money side of it, for me, it's a little bit of a hurry up and wait type thing, because I do need to get in there with their deadlines and get this SOW
Yeah.
and quote in. So that they can start their waiting, or us waiting part while they review and get us in queue and in line, but she did state that. Once we get into the planning side of it, that they write up their report in a way that I can essentially copy and paste it into a letter of interest of sorts. For the actual grant portion, so that should be pretty good. It's just the big portion is, the
Oh, yeah.
SOW and quotes.
Well,
So
this is
that-
just fact finding anyway.
Yeah,
The trouble, we may get these meters in and find out there is no water loss there. And we're hoping to find it there.
boy, we sure are.
well, I mean, just metering them at all
We need to get a meter no matter what.
is some portion of it, but yeah,
It's not a guarantee it's gonna.
Yeah.
It's everybody's hope and wish.
Yes,
yeah.
A year ago, we didn't even know where the lines were.
We do
Right.
now.
so we've made.
We know where
huge
everything
progress.
is.
Yeah.
That's progress.
Okay,
Yeah, we
Very
spent a
good.
fair amount of time wandering around the surface base. So.
Yes,
very good.
yes, and outside the base.
And outside the state.
So let's move on to action item number 2. There's no action really to take right now, other than waiting on quotes and information. The sewer pressure sensor valve, I believe you already talked about, didn't you, Bob?
Well, actually.
Oh, no, this is different, sorry.
This is something that's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward.
Yes,
Right.
and we were
we
hoping
can-
to do it by fall.
or spring even, it's something you can put in. I mean, you basically get it in a day, so,
If we have a super El Nino, you'll probably be able to do it early spring.
yeah,
It won't be much
Yeah.
snow.
but I mean, it's not it's not a panic like some of the other things are.
Yeah,
I
but
talked
it's been on our to-do list for a very long time, and at some point. We need to get some of that off the to-do list.
And I did
Well,
talk with
definitely.
Dan about it, and he said something about that, maybe there was something about maybe needing a vault. With how. It was, he said he had met with you guys up there and that might be a little bit more of. A situation that needs to be maybe looked at closer and could. Take a little bit of time, so. I don't know, just making sure.
Yeah.
He said that he's ready to go on it, so.
Right.
That's an extra 15 grand.
Well, there's some things involved with that, we can't just,
And we
you
need
don't just
power.
put a pressure. Shut off in there so that when the pressure drops, everything shuts down. There has to be a time delay in there, because when we switch from one area to another.
Yeah.
The pressure drops, 'cause
Right.
you can't turn one off before you turn the other one on.
Yeah.
So, we have to know what that time, but that's just the time.
Okay. So you guys will get with Dan and figure
Yeah.
out the vault situation
Yeah.
and. Okay,
We have plenty of money in our sewer budget,
Yes,
let's borrow some for the water.
that's.
Yeah.
Right, I know,
Yeah.
well, good news is, I mean, that's never anything that anyone banks
I
on,
know,
and it's not a good practice, but. Always the good news is if we don't go over our overall expenses line, but that is why I wanna get. This done in fall, is cause I need this cost to be in this fiscal year.
yes. All right, moving to action item number 3. Kay, I think you're on stage.
It's stated wrong, I'm not asking for a cost share replacement line. I'm buying a traffic graded box. My son-in-law's putting it in, so it's all dug out, but the only thing that worries me, as Bob mentioned, that it may have to be dug out clear to the road if you change the meter. And that box is going to be less than 2 feet from my concrete driveway with hydraulic tubing. And if you have to dig it out later down the road, that's gonna be heavy.
Yeah.
So, and we're not. Probably won't pour the driveway till spring. Cause they don't even have the foundation in now, but that's something for you to consider.
Yeah.
If changing that meter. Prior to
Yeah.
pouring that concrete driveway.
Do we want to look at next year's budget, which starts December 1st for something like this? If we have a warm.
Well-
or-
In any other situation, what we've discussed at previous board meetings 2 times now is. Kay's willing to sell back 2 ERUs to help cover the cost of what needs to happen at her property. But I think with this new information. We may need to see if that whole thing needs to be relocated, engineered differently. So I don't know that it's a decision we can make. I think we were all really clear that
Yeah.
the, we don't trade anything,
Yeah.
we.
Yeah,
Buy
and I
back
wasn't bringing
ERU.
that up at all.
Yeah,
that
no,
you
get
gotta
it,
use
I got
that.
it.
You're not ready for that, are you?
No.
Yet.
Not quite, but hopefully soon.
Oh, good.
And so. One or t'other of you will need to look at the most updated plans. For this
So they're,
development.
they're gonna be out there doing the foundation and we'll know exactly where the garage
Mhm.
and the driveway is. Towards the end of September.
Okay.
So-
So we've got a lot of time.
Okay.
If you can keep us in the loop
Yeah.
when dates
Yeah.
happen and just touch base with Jesse.
I just don't wanna have a huge,
So I just wanna be clear real quick, what is the issue with the meter?
The meter is so close to the driveway, they get, it may get run over and crushed, cause
well,
concrete.
it shouldn't with a.
It's that
gonna
there's
have a
heated.
traffic.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Okay,
It's got a traffic rated box that my
Right.
son-in-law is gonna put over it. That
Okay.
part's not the problem, but you said to me, when I originally asked this, I may have to go clear to the road to put a new meter in, dig out.
Yes, it depends, this is possible, depends what we find. If we find that it's PVC coming in that meter, we may have to. If it's polypipe, then we can freeze it and do whatever we need to
Can
do.
you not tell by looking at it now?
No, it's buried underground. You can't tell, yeah. So once we get it exposed, then we could if we needed to put a new meter on there, we could simply put a valve there, freeze the line, put a valve there, and then go from there.
Move it
where
over, so I don't want to dig it out till you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait until we get the footers in and
Yeah.
the stem walls up,
Right.
then we're gonna know
I
exactly.
hate to dig into the road because, back to our conversation on Hudson Bay
Yeah.
Road. Last time we dig in roads, Lakes Highway District worked 15 grand on basically a bond from us to. Dig into their road, so,
And I don't care if meter stays,
Right.
that's not,
right,
it's just for warning for you
Right.
for later.
Right.
Yeah.
We're trying to be
Proactive,
upfront,
thank you.
yes,
Okay.
to prevent problems.
Appreciate that.
All right, let's move to action item number 4, which really isn't an action item, but more a review item. As you saw from our conversation during our special meeting this month, we're discussing enforceability of ERU violations. And I just want to say for everyone's edification, there is a reason no city in the state of Idaho has managed this yet. No one enforces because they don't have time, desire, or staff to do it. Or they just want to keep building, which is the case of Kootenai County. And they're not even looking at it. So I appreciate everybody being in a real hurry, and we want to find a way to work on this issue too. But we have 3 part-time people and real structural system integrity issues that have to take first priority. So I'm sure I'll get beat up on the Facebook page and the other communication channels in Bayview, but the reality is no one is managing this in Idaho, even systems with lots of humans and lots more money than the little old BWSD. So we are working on it. We've had conversations. Spirit Lake allows for no RV hookups on their system. I haven't gotten a call back from their person yet on if they've had to manage any violations, but they simply don't allow it. There was conversation suggested by one of our board members that perhaps we allow people to hook up to water, which is great because it's metered and we don't have to worry about it, but that homeowners may need to remove stub outs for sewer at their own expense. So that's been part of the conversation and would be a good enforcement tool because we have an ordinance that's poorly written and we can't look at everybody and say, oh, well, you've been hooked up more than 30 days now. And you have to unhook for 15 days before you can hook back up for 30 days. Our ordinance is written like that, which is ridiculous. So suffice it to say, this conversation is going to be ongoing for a while. We came up with some interesting ideas about a system capacity bank. That if we buy back ERUs, we might create a capacity bank, which would allow buying additional service, which I suggest would be at a premium cost in addition to violation fines. So a lot of conversation has gone into it. We're gonna have a whole lot more conversation around it before we get a solution. So I beg for people's patience because it is a big weighty issue. And we don't have enough humans sometimes to even manage, people like Zipley drilling through our lines.
Right.
So, not to say in a flippant way, cool your jets, but a little bit, we have to cool our jets so we can find a way that legally makes it either we change the ordinance to make it more enforceable, we come up with new solutions, but again, when no one in the state is managing this problem or having the exact same issues as we are, it's because it's a really difficult problem to manage. So that's my only update on that.
thank you.
You bet. We are investigating, action item you were just thinking about, buying back ERU connections, and we have a couple of potential opportunities to do that. K's being one, but another customer that may have several to sell back to the district. So Jesse's been working with our attorney to say, how do we create that system, make sure we're doing it legally. Of course, my desire would be then they'd have to be resold at current value. which again then turns into a horrible discussion about a new facilities plan, which we aren't gonna do at least until I'm no longer on the board. Because it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. At some point, this system needs to do that. Our last facilities plan was 1988. It is 2026. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is for now. And that's when the moratorium was installed, correct, Jesse? 1988?
No, the moratorium was installed in 2007.
Okay.
The last facility
2007.
plan was in 1988.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, we're also working on that. So a lot of behind the scenes conversation to see how we manage making that happen. And that could provide us with some opportunities. Survey Monkey. Jesse, you want to do this one or do you want me to do this one?
I'll start her off and then you can fill in where I maybe need to be elaborated on, but yeah, it's been discussed. We know that some other surveys have gone out that the district has not been a part of. But the district really does want to seek information and understanding from the public and where they're at. We want to get a good pulse on what they want us to do. I think we spent a good amount of time trying to guess what people want us to do by only hearing from, maybe a couple handfuls of different people. So we're going.
Ones were bad.
Yeah, so we want to try to reach out to everyone and see who's going to participate, what they have to say, and what their priorities are for us. We want to gear it in a way that also lets them know, some of these items that they pick could come at a price tag, and if they're how important are they? If there's a price tag associated with some of them, what area or frame of a price tag would they be interested in putting towards these types of projects? So
Mitigation being
yeah,
a big one among them.
yeah, for unauthorized connections and things like that. So I think that we're just really trying to bat around a bunch of ideas for some survey questions, and then we would probably get out some hard paper copies to customers who like it the good old fashioned way, and they can turn those into the door or mail them. We'll also put something up on the website where people can just hop online and click a couple buttons and submit their answers that way. So,
And if we have emails of customers, we can
Yes.
send directly to them as well.
obviously we'll put it up on Facebook.
A good question, and we're trying to make it very scientific, because you can create a survey to be very leading. And that is not helpful. We would like it to be more scientifically written so that the data we collect is valid. And have free form for some opinions, like how would people feel if we cut off all RV sewer connections? I mean, if you have 2 ERUs, you can have an RV with a sewer connection, but if you only have one, is that something we want to step into? So, there's a lot of things going into this to try and make it a good scientific survey that we will then openly share the results with the district customers and staff and board and operators, what the community has to say. I think there's a lot more opinions in our community than we hear about, and we would really like to hear more voices. So it's our effort to be more transparent, more open, keep communication going, because I don't think you'd find a customer that comes to Jesse and Logan or either of the Bobs who gets shut down. They always answer. So, which I very much appreciate. Sean's had an assignment this month. I'm excited about it. I'm not sure he has been excited about it. He's the perfect human to do it. For any of you who read the news, water systems have been being hacked across the country, and big and small. So we are not too small to be concerned about cybersecurity. So I will just let Sean step in and talk a little bit about what he's been working on this month, because he's doing a great job.
Well, I keep it really short because I know I can say more than I need to, and without saying a whole lot. Yeah, I like to hear myself speak sometimes, I think. Our system, I think, is pretty robust. Never mind, the lightning seems to take out our PLCs, which are in question. And I had to kind of chuckle when I first started looking at our PLCs, and it's like we kind of change them out about 4 times a year.
For people who don't know what PLC is, that may be watching on Zoom or whatever.
Logic controller, programmable logic controller, yeah.
Thanks.
And it allows actions to be performed by something, a switch elsewhere, just at a very basic level. I think our system is we're pretty safe. It looks like everything that we have is mostly behind firewalls and stuff like that. I'm still gonna look into a whole bunch more because there's other things to look at with this, but I don't want to go into it more and other than telling everybody I think we have a pretty robust system.
And
We're
we're ahead of the game. Because just this week, we're starting to get national emails to the office
Yeah,
about this issue. And Sean's been working on this issue for several weeks now. As soon as that first news story came out, so we're on top of making sure that our system is safe. Thank you much, Sean. Shall we move on to old business? Jesse, do you want to cover the delinquent list?
Sure. So last month. We did not present a delinquent list. Instead, we presented our certification list because we get once a year, anybody who has not paid. We do give final warning. If they do not make that final payment, we then, as a taxing district and by Idaho statutes, have the ability to certify unpaid delinquent balances to property taxes, where they are then received through a property tax payment and sent to the district by the county. This would be the first month that we are back to our routine warning letters that we send people, and that gives them about a month to respond to our warning letters. If we do not get a response from them, we do issue a turnoff letter. That turnoff letter, they get approximately 1 week from there, and if we still do not get a payment from them, then we will go ahead and turn the water off until we get payment on their accounts. This month is pretty low. We have a total of 8 customers who are delinquent at $1,677. Of those 8 accounts, 6 of them did get warning letters, and they are at the 60-day mark, which is what triggers the warning letter period. None of them have gotten up to the 90-day because, as I mentioned, we had just started that process again at the beginning of that. And then 2 of those are so out of the 8 delinquent accounts, 6 get warning letters, 2 get certification pendings. That means they do not have water service that we can threaten. They are sewer accounts. The only recourse is certifying until next year. However, I feel like our customers are pretty good, and sometimes our sewer accounts, even though we don't have any recourse to shut them off, they do eventually get caught up. So we'll just wait and see on those ones.
And to be clear, if they come in and they are in some situation of hardship, we do everything we can to work with them, put them on a payment plan. I mean, we make all kinds of accommodations. We put them on a payment plan, and then they still don't follow through with that. Then we have 0 tolerance. We don't have any other option. But we're not harsh about this. We try really hard to be compassionate and do our best. So
yes. And Logan and I did refine our process there and put our heads together and wrote a formal payment plan agreement contract with customers. So we've got that in place. We haven't really had to do that in the past because people are pretty good about their payment plans. But for the first time since I've been here, which is about 10 years, one of them has been a little sticky. So we're still working with them, but this contract is that step towards, if you've signed it and you've agreed, then we can take that harsher step and make sure that we're well within our rights and abilities. We do have 7 accounts that are already turned off for various reasons. People are out of the area, we can shut their water off, they don't care, they're not here, they're not using it. But some of them, most of them are up on their balances, even though they keep them turned off. But we certified everyone else, and we're at 187 out of those 7 for this first month after certifications.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we are not going to review the board action item list till next month. So let's move to public comments and, Chief, I know you want to talk to us about what you brought to us during this public comment period.
Are you on? No, I don't. Oh, okay, that's for that. Is it all right if I stand and?
Yeah.
Great, thank you, appreciate that. So what you have in front of you is just a punch list essentially of what, we need to go through as a fire district in order to officially do a boundary line adjustment. So this process has taken a little bit to figure out, and I've contacted North Idaho Title that did our title insurance for us, our subdivision guarantee for when we had our project or our property surveyed over here. So long story short, I came to you, last time I came to you, I asked if the board would be amenable to thinking about or talking about the idea of donating or otherwise conveying 12 feet of land, which is your northeasternmost portion that abuts. So it's a south, and on your map, it's the green line. And it's kind of difficult to see. This is the best map I could produce on the county's website, but this green line right here is, and this is approximate because it's done on a computer and scaling and all that kind of stuff. But the green line shows you approximately where the pins would be moved out to from where they're currently located. And so that would be the conveyance from Bayview Water and Sewer District to Timberlake Fire Protection District. And then the red line indicates 50 feet, because the last time I spoke with you folks, there was some concern or some indication that you were considering installing another well on this property. And that 50-foot boundary line right there is in relation to that proposed or possible new well. I didn't draw a 50-foot radius around all portions of your Bayview Water and Sewer District properties. It's out there in the middle. There is, I just want to give you a visual representation of approximately what we are talking about asking for. So this is an official ask right now, that you folks allow us to be on your next board meeting as an action item so that we can move forward. And the reason I had to do it this way is because it's an expensive process to do a boundary line adjustment for us. And we have to be very, very careful with the funds, because all of the funding for this project is coming out of impact fees. So taxpayers and new building construction in our fire district is paying for this new living quarters addition onto our property. So we have to run it through our lawyer. They have to approve the new legal descriptions. We have to provide a new legal description for our property as well as your property to you. And you would have to approve that as well, probably through your legal counsel, right? And then once those are all approved on both sides, those new legal descriptions go through the county for recording. And the recording registration is for the purpose of only boundary line adjustment, not creating another or net new property. It's just moving one boundary line and two pins essentially. So it's going to take a little bit in order to get all of this done on our side of things. We have Stratton Land Services that did the survey on our property at the beginning of all this, and we intend to hire them again if the board approves going forward with the boundary line adjustment.
All right, that is the 3-minute mark. We'll definitely put that on the agenda for next month.
Yes, if you have a workshop scheduled in September, do you not?
Yeah, September 15th, 13th. That is September 15th. You want it on that one?
Yes,
Okay.
so. Because I think it's big, larger questions that we can answer and decide on in the board meeting about the sanctity of our land and property and ability to build what we need to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna require further discussion.
Okay.
Make it too.
And I did want to, just for anybody who might be viewing this meeting remotely at a later point in time, just want to make a clarifying point that we are not thinking about drilling a well at this point. We have no plans to drill a well. We're incurring no costs at this time to do so. It is simply a if the district ever needed to in the future, at any point in time, be it 100 years from now or whatever, that we have the land that could accommodate such structure. So Tony, we're actually gonna put that on the September 15th. So instead of the regular board meeting, we have a workshop one, and that's at 10 AM on September 15th.
Correct.
And I just sent you the new setback regulations and on the rear yard. Now after it's going into the papers on the 25th, the commissioners are supposed to go over it, sign it, publish it for 30 days, so whether it goes or not, which it probably will, it says that the setback is 10 feet on the rear yard. That's, and currently now, the rear yard says it's 5. So, I don't know. But I sent it to you, Jesse, so you know, the one thing I have to say about them washing out the fire hydrants. When I saw the flood in my backyard, I thought, yeah, let's both at my house. And so when I realized what it was, because I'm downhill and everything went with it, I called up my insurance company because my policy's ready for me. And I said, the fire hydrant and the fire department is here. It's my fire rating. And she checked and called me back today. We're at 4. She says that's about the best you can get because of baby water and the fact that they have. So that's something to be said for the fire department.
Absolutely. Appreciate that.
And to clarify, our meeting on the 15th is really for us to be able to have open discussion about concerns. Any kind of approval would come later at an official board meeting, our regular board meeting, but in the workshop, we're very free flowing in conversation and you are absolutely welcome, but that will be when we make a decision. Oh, Jesse, do we have anybody online with public comments?
I'm going to go ahead and ask to unmute the first person.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Please introduce yourself and state your name and address.
Cheryl, 16023 East Schaefer. Jesse, what's the name of the company that does the leak detection? Looks, that your guys are using to assist you in looking for leaks?
We go with Idaho Rural Water Association, also known as IRWA.
Okay.
There's also a private locator out there that we can get, if somebody wants to do private locating for a fee, they would do that. They would
Yeah, people could Google any.
Contact our office, we can get it to.
But yeah, as a district, we pay a membership dues to Idaho Rural Water Association for occasional free services for leak detection and service line or mainline locations.
Okay, thanks. Because Schaefer Water has a leak now and they're trying to find the leak.
Yep,
So-
Idaho Rural Water Association.
Unless it's fire hydrant.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
And you, Cheryl, you would need to be a member of Idaho Rural Water Association, I believe, for them to provide
The
those
association.
services to you.
So Cooch, I Googled to find a private person.
You could contact IRWA and they might help with a fee. I don't know. I just know that we pay a membership, but I would reach out to them and see what they could do for you as a water system. And then maybe you would have to go private after that. I don't know. Is that a
Yes,
fair
that's
statement?
right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll pass that on. Thank you.
Right,
All right,
and on the
I'll
next
go
person.
ahead to the next person and ask to unmute. If you see a button on your screen that says ask to unmute, you can click that and ask any questions.
Okay, moving on.
And then
That would be Zach, our
we'll check in
engineer.
with Zach, our engineer.
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
I mean, you see it too.
Hey, Great to see everyone again. Yeah, no real comments or concerns on my end at this time. Just wanting to check in, say hello, and yeah, if you guys need any support, always here to help.
You just missed us.
Yeah, you caught me.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Good to
Thanks,
see ya.
Zach. Nice to see you.
All right, I would at this point take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Nope.